What's the biggest kind of like turnaround story that pops in your head with a specific dog?
There's in prison specifically.
Doesn't matter.
I think that some of the most beautiful rehabilitation that I've witnessed between man and dog, man and mutt, if you will, has been in the positive change program, because we've sent in some really broken dogs who did not trust people. One of them, Smokey. So I get a call from the animal control officer, the lead at the Mojave Animal Shelter, and she says, I got a dog for you. I really don't want to have to put him down. I've been pushing it off for 3 weeks. And she's the one that's got to stick the needle in. So,
Yeah.
She's kind of begging me to come out there and meet him. She sends me a picture. It's an adorable looking cattle dog, right? But he's got a scowl and a look in his eyes where I know this dude is off.
Yeah, straight
I
up.
know he is.
Yeah.
Something is wrong with something. I don't want to say wrong, but
Yeah.
he's had some experiences in life that have set him back.
Straight up. Yeah.
So I get out there to the kennel card and get out there to his kennel, and his kennel card says hates people. That's just so the notes are just, it says he hates people.
Right.
I go, all right, well,
Awesome.
what are we gonna do with this
Yeah.
here? Yeah. So I put Caesar always teaches us no touch, no talk, no eye contact. So because all of those things are pressure, and this is a dog that doesn't need any pressure right now. So simply put a leash on him, turned and walked out, let him hop in the car himself. And I thought to myself, this dog is going to need, if he has any hope at all, to be adopted, because he'd already bitten several people. That's
Right.
why he was there. He needs to go into positive change, and he needs to find someone who has a sixth sense about emotional connection and a sixth sense of almost superhuman ability to convey positive energy. And I knew just who that person was, and his name is Jason Mori. He is out of prison now. He's probably the best dog trainer in Orange County.
Huh.
And Jason Mori turned that dog around like you would not believe. We couldn't really have many people involved. Usually we have 3 students. We pair outside of their race. California state prisons are extraordinarily segregated racially. So we always have people of various racial backgrounds paired up on one dog. It's 3 students per dog. But
And is that's pretty singular for programs? I mean, is that whose idea was that, and why do that?
Well, we knew we kind of had to, especially because we were teaching on maximum security prison yards, where it was the racial politics were very real.
Yeah.
And so the best way we could figure out how to get everyone to get along and kind of team up over this greater good, it was to pair them up together.
That's great.
And it really worked out well.
For sure.
It's really been something special. Maybe we can expand on that
Love
later. To. But Jason, Jason Mori is a special human being. He is a guy that did a long time in prison, and once he found his natural ability to transmit positive energy into another human, into another being, I think his life changed forever, and he knew exactly what he wanted to do, because he turned that dog around like you would not believe, and he knew exactly how to do it. And he would just start out by saying, my responsibility here is to let him know that I've got him, that no matter what, this dog knows that every step he takes, I have his back. I've got you. I've got you. I've got you. And he is breathing that into himself, and he's sending it down that leash, and he's doing it with his touch, and he's doing it with how he stands. There's something very impressive about the prison population and how their body language is.
Sure.
Dogs pick up on body language. And Jason has this beautiful presence to himself. He has this, this wonderful stance, and he just conveys confidence and self-esteem, and I got you. So this dog was scared of everything. The reason he bit so many things is not because he's aggressive, it's because he was scared.
Sure.
He was intimidated. He didn't understand what was going on around him.
Sure.
So Jason started out for weeks with just I got you, just building him up with I got you. And then from that point on, when that dog started to realize that things weren't as scary as he thought they were, as happens with most of us, he started to really become a dog, and he started to wag his tail, and he started to be extraordinarily affectionate, and he started to deal with other students, and he just truly rehabilitated. He changed that dog's entire life, and I contend to this day that only could have happened in prison.
Yeah.
Because the boundaries, the rules, the exercise, the discipline, the structure that we have in there is exactly what a dog like that needs.
Yeah.
So his family actually adopted Smokey. So when he got out of prison, Smokey was waiting for him.
Oh, that's so cool, man.
Yeah.
That's
Smokey's
so cool.
passed away since, but Jason's been training now for, I think, 4 years.
Yeah.
He's been a professional dog trainer.
Yeah.
And he's doing an incredible job. He, along with 25 other of our former students, are professional dog trainers.
Wow.
These are almost all long-term incarcerated, a lot of black and brown gang members, people that you would never expect to be involved in the pet industry,
Sure.
are not only involved in the pet industry, but are doing incredible work. Most of them working within the rescue system.
Does the program take part in sort of in their parole and in their sort of plea?
Yeah, absolutely.
And how does that work?
Yeah, so for the most part, our students can re-enroll in the program as many times as they want, because that's something that we need, because you are adding on to your skill set every round that you do, so that's something that's very important to us, to have a base so that we can rehabilitate difficult dogs. But at some of our institutions, we're able to provide milestones. Milestones are considered by parole and probation, for release. We write letters to the parole board for our students, talking about the content of their character, how they've applied themselves in the program. I don't believe we have RAC credits, but there's a variety of we are approved at an institutional level to help people get out of prison earlier, because they are what the parole board wants to see and what the prison system wants to see is that you are taking your time seriously and that you are working to rehabilitate yourself. There are very few programs in prison. It's very hard to do. But positive change is an incredible commitment. It's 14 weeks. We're only in there once a week. So we go in once a week for about 4 hours to train with our students. And the rest of the time, it's the mentor trainers and the lead trainers that are leading class to make things possible. But they're training 14 hours a day, 7 days a week. Wow. For 14 weeks. Wow. So those dogs are all day long in the pod, on the yard. We usually have kind of an alcove that's connected. We usually go through the showers to get to a back area where we have like our kennels. But for the most part, the dogs are with a student all day long. The only time they're not is when they're sleeping or they're at chow.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
So they're working all day long. And not only have we helped a lot, I'll tell you a wonderful story. So I was we were pushing for criminal justice reform in Washington. Congressman Kevin McCarthy is my congressman. He's always been extraordinarily supportive of the program, which was unique from the right, because
Sure.
what I'd always been taught is the right, that's not somewhere you go. So when Kevin, from day one, I've known him since 2011, he's been supportive, really trying to
Is
help.
he a dog guy?
He is, yeah. And he invited us out to Washington, and I didn't know what to expect. This is me and students.
Yeah.
So these are formerly incarcerated students.
Wow.
And Daniel had just gotten out of prison.
Yeah.
And so I'm there with Daniel, who was incarcerated at 17. Mr. Robinson, if you're out there, I love you. And he gave us the Capitol Dome tour. Wow. Which only a handful of people get this tour.
Yeah.
And so we're standing on top of the Capitol Dome after getting this beautiful tour, walking up these old staircases. There's the graffiti in there from like the late 1800s. There's all this crazy stuff. And we get up to the top, and Daniel's like, hey, man, just kind of realizing if I had to serve my max term, I would still be in prison. But instead, I was in the positive change program, and I'm standing on top of the Capitol building. Yeah. It's pretty crazy.
Yeah.
So had it not been for positive change, he would still be in prison. And instead, he's standing on top of the Capitol with me looking out over the mall.
Wow.